Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Healthy, Happy, Wise, Wealthy. I have with us today, I'm so excited, Linden Thorp, who embodiment and signal literacy is what you have on your thing there. But you've worked with students, you're working with CEOs, and you bring a connection of embodiment with leadership, with an understanding of stress, anxiety, and also an understanding of things like the body language, of nonverbals and even the voice and how that connects. So it is fascinating to me.
I've perfected in my many years of practicing this, being able to tell which part of the spine is perhaps in need of work from the voice, because the spine is like a tuning fork, really, if it's
Interesting.
used properly. So if you're really using your spine in a good way, then your voice will have a head register, a chest register, a diaphragm register, and a lower body register, really four areas. So I can hear straight away, wow, she's got problems with her low back. It's the bottom end of the spine. Oh, she's got a head problem. She's obsessed with the limited mind. She's speaking from her head. And of course, in singing work, I taught singing for a number of years. When we teach singing, we talk about the head register, the chest register, the abdomen register, and we can use those techniques in singing. So, yeah, when somebody starts to work with me, I ask them for a 2-minute audio recording of their voice, saying nothing special, saying anything they like. And then I sit and I really meditate on it. And I can tell where the weaknesses are. They might be in the throat. And so that's probably a head, neck, back problem. Or they're the low back, or maybe the diaphragm. And that's a breathing problem, So the voice really, if it's working properly, will overcome every other thing, because it's what people listening to you receive in a non-verbal way. We don't make pronouncements about voices usually, but we do get signals from the voice. And even if you're doing that unconsciously, and I teach people to be more conscious about those signals, but if you're doing it unconsciously, then you are already reading that person before you've even begun to understand what they're saying. It's the quality of the voice, the register, the tone that you're reading. And either you feel really comfortable with this person's voice or you don't. And, that may mean you withdraw if it's not comfortable, if there's something not complete about it or insincere. We detect it. The body detects it long before the intellectual mind does, and
That's
long
so
before meaning.
fascinating. Yeah, that's so fascinating. And I've done, the music performance when I was younger, and then acting in the last decade, and then some public speaking. So I actually did a talk for business owners or people who need to or giving speeches on getting rid of nerves. Because and the thing that I was talking about was not embodiment; it was being goofy as you practice, so that you're not like,
Oh,
which is a way to just let it go. Like all of a sudden they're laughing. Once they're laughing, they are kind of. Once you're laughing and talking about it, it is more of an embodiment. So maybe
yes.
inadvertently I was doing that with them.
Yes, you are. Yes, laughter is a great thing. In fact, I'm giving a session on Friday on laughter. You may
Oh,
want to join us, Mary.
I'd
I
love
want
to.
every week I run embodiment Q&A on LinkedIn and YouTube. And it's a free session. And I'm at the moment going through all the non-verbal signals that we can receive, and writing a book as I go. So it's a kind of book in a blog, as it were. And so this week we're focusing on laughter. So
Oh, that's
I will
amazing.
invite you, as you've brought it up, because
I
yes,
love that.
laughter is a tremendous way to release.
It
And
is.
it also encourages us to breathe from the diaphragm. If we laugh, we're usually
It
laughing from the
from the
diaphragm. So
diaphragm. That is very
you'll
true.
feel it moving, when you laugh, and you can see it,
Yeah.
under people's rib cages when they're laughing. There's a
Yeah.
trembling there, So it's a brilliant way to release the diaphragm, and yeah, a brilliant way to put people at their ease.
Mm.
It's a great thing. Yeah.
So, out of curiosity, and the embodiment when you're under, like, and you've had this 'cause as a performer, of course. So, and I think it absolutely translates to business leaders, whether they're giving a speech or leading a meeting, is how when you have anxiety that you're in front of people, or this is your make or break moment. I mean, if you fail here, you don't get your dreams, whatever it is, like that kind of
Yeah.
stress, or you don't get promoted, or you don't get hired, or you don't how do you stay in your body and stay embodied with that kind of stress?
Yeah. So high stakes, and there are high stakes. Yeah. Oh, well, there are many ways, but I think it's important to say that performing performing is not the way to get into people's hearts, because their bodies will detect that you're not sincere, you're not present, you've learned to script by heart, you've kind of practiced with your colleagues, many times, and there's no naturalness about it, there's no sincerity in it. So we see this quite a lot in movies. Somebody stands up with a script to make a speech, and they start to speak and say, "Oh, no, I'm not going to say that." And they put the script aside.
Oh,
I'm
that's
just
true.
talking naturally. And those moments are so much better than the scripted talk. So I think talking to groups, to audiences, takes practice to do it naturally.
Mhm.
And I learned this a long time ago as a performer. As a concert pianist, you walk out in front of the orchestra and thousands of faces are there waiting for you. And it could be the most terrifying thing you've ever experienced, But through lots of training and through lots of events and practice, I learned that even the person sitting right at the back of the auditorium or at the back of the gods in the performance space is my best friend.
Oh,
People have come to hear me because they want to hear me. Of course, there may be some who want to criticize me and compare me and, so on with other performers, but mostly people are coming because they want to come. And that at a very basic level is very reassuring feeling,
mhm.
They paid money to come and listen to you,
They did.
you know.
Yes. They paid to be
Um,
there.
yeah. So, but then of course there are many other things that you learn, and one is to be very grounded. Two is to realize that your interpretation of whatever you're saying or playing in any sphere is unique. It's unique. One of the things I disliked about being in the classical professional world is the pressure to perform in a certain mold. So according to your teacher, who's been molded by their teacher, who was probably a great performer, then you're kind of forced to interpret things in the way your teacher wants you to. Well, I was terrible rebel because I would not do it. So I fought against that all the time,
That's
got
probably
very
why I
bad
like you.
reputation. Thank you. I like you too. And so, yeah, another thing is as I was playing, I would be thinking, No one can interpret this music like I can. No one. So I think very often in a situation where you're standing up to talk to people, if you have that notion, wow, I'm unique, I look unique, I have unique DNA, my ancestral lineage is unique to me, no one can do this like I can do it. If you have that uniqueness in your heart, then, you know, these people really do need to listen to you because you are unique.
Yes, I love that.
I mean, you may not have the credentials that other people have. You may not have the experience that other people have, but you can't get away from the fact that you are unique, and we all are. And so very often talking to people, I really feel that, and I kind of dwell on it a bit, really, by telling my stories rather than, you know, the towing the line, the company line, the method line, whatever it is. I tell my stories. And people love that. They love to hear your unique stories, I think.
They do. That's so true. Well, I want to ask you some business questions too. So you have a book called The Body is the Business Plan. Yes?
Yes.
Yes. Did I say that right? The body is your business plan, or the body is the business plan?
Just
it's on Amazon.
It's on Amazon, yes. Just a slight tweak in the title. Your body is your business plan.
Oh, your body is your business plan.
Yeah.
Okay.
And, you know, given what we said earlier about this word your is full of meaning because it's really talking to everybody, every unique being. So your body is your business plan. This is I wrote it last year. It's a gateway book, really. And the second book is the nonverbal communication book, which is a proper kind of tome, which is kind of halfway through now. But the gateway book is great if you want to get in touch with my manifesto on embodiment, because it really is, in many ways, my manifesto. It goes through the very basics of, you know, your spirit, your human spirit, not a religious spirit. And don't worry, it's not about religion in any way, because Buddhism, although I'm Buddhist, as I mentioned earlier, I'm not religious at all. So it goes through spiritual aspects of embodiment, the physical, the experiential. I offer lots of tips about how to bring yourself into alignment. And I suppose the underlying foundation of it all is that until we are aligned, truly aligned, in other words, our inside is the same as our outside, there's no incongruity there. Until that happens, then you will always defer to the limited mind. And the limited mind will always be questioning you. How could you do that? Another client of mine was haunted for years by something her father said when she was 6. She's now in her late 80s, and this suddenly came to light. Her father had said to her, "Who do you think you are?" When she was 6 years of age. Who do you think you are? And actually, she was a pianist, and she was a very promising child prodigy, and she was playing Beethoven. And she had said to her father, "I want to be Beethoven," you know, in a sort of 6-year-old way. So father said, "Who do you think you are?" And those words stayed with her for 7 decades, 8 decades, and have haunted her and held her back so much. So, yeah, we have to be so careful what we say, especially to children. You know, if we're parents, I think we're in charge of both discipline and love, and, you know, making children fit into be accepted by their society or community. Finding a balance where we use language extremely responsibly is
Mm-hmm.
so important, because that child will remember those words all its life, you know.
Isn't that
And
remarkable?
so language, never underestimate the power of language.
Yeah.
And if it's used badly, it's bad power. And if it's used beautifully, it's beautiful power. Yeah.
Yes, I totally believe that. So you have a program, it's Lodestone, Lode, Lodestone. Tell us what a lodestone is. I had a look at that
Okay.
and I
Oh,
love
I'd
it.
love to. Oh, good, good, good. A lodestone, I'm sure you know, some of you, that a lodestone is the original compass. So before the mechanical compass was invented in the 18th century, I believe, how did people navigate the world? Well, you know, if they're in a sandstorm in a desert or in ocean fog, how do they navigate if they can't see stars and moon and so on? Well, very often they would use magnetic rock. It's a type of rock called magnetite. I've actually got some.
Yeah.
It's black rock, and if you put it in water, it always points to true north. If you mark a point on the stone, put it in water, it will always point true north. Now that's the original compass, which was a natural compass. Lodestone, my Lodestone, is a 30-day program of guided audio. It's not video, it's audio only. And during that 30 days, for 30 minutes a day, about just under 30 minutes a day, I guide you down through all the layers of your social condition, your indoctrination, right down to meet your true nature. And the daily practice repeats itself, but is always slightly different. I work with three elements during that 30 days, which I repeat. First of all, the
Okay.
breath. Secondly, the spine. And thirdly, full body awareness. And by the way, you can contact me at all time during that 30 days. Within the sanctuary where you get the audio files, there's a chat button. So I'm always there with you if you have questions. But yeah, day 20, people often write to me, 19, 20, 21, they write to me and say, Linden, I know who I am. Suddenly I've met myself. I know who I am under all this stuff.
Yeah.
And that is so wonderful. And from then on, they start to live life in a really different way because they know who they are. Many of them make huge life changes. Whatever
Mm.
they were doing, they stop it because it's not serving them, and they do something completely new, which fulfills them and means that they're being more authentic. Maybe it's a business online or some new pursuit in which they can be truly authentic and
Mm.
congruent inside and outside. So it's a very inexpensive lifetime license you can buy for Lodestone 1. So you can go on repeating it and repeating it.
Yeah.
And I'm finding that people love it because they can do it when they want to do it. They can see the progress. They can feel the shift inside. So very often people say, yeah, I can't put it into words, but I feel different. There's a
Yeah.
shift.
There is a
And of
shift. There is,
course,
yeah.
that's the body. That's the
Mm-hmm.
body shifting. Which is so exciting when they tell me that, because it's not this, it's not the limited analytical mind, it's the body that's responding. So, yeah, I am talking to your body during those 30 days
Yeah.
and, guiding you to get down below all the conditioning so that you can
Yeah.
live fully and happily. Yeah.
I do feel like the gut has so much more. I've heard that the gut is the actual brain of the body. It has so many more receptors and that kind of thing in it. But
Yes,
and
yes, it
sometimes you
is. The
want to
gut.
say no, but your brain doesn't know why you're supposed to say no, but your gut's telling you to say no, or maybe vice
Yes,
versa. And I have
yeah,
definitely said yes to things because my brain couldn't come up with a reason why I needed to say no, but my gut was not in alignment with that. And
yeah,
you regret it. You
yeah,
flat out regret it. So,
yeah, yeah. Absolutely.
yeah,
So it's really interesting that we kind of know these things. If we
right.
go into inside, we know them. They are always there. The signals are always there. The system
Hmm.
always working, unless we're unfortunate to have an accident or an illness. But even dis-ease, I work a lot with dis-ease, disease, as we know it, because dis-ease is just that. The body is not at ease with
Yeah.
something that's happening, and it's usually neglect. Yeah.
Neglecting the body. Well, that kind of,
Mm.
because you also talk about, once you find a purpose and you have a purpose driven business or, life goal or not, whatever you're doing, that burnout,
Mm.
that a lot of people experience anxiety and burnout anyway, even when they're doing things that they love to do. And that's been me for sure in more than one situation. So what's your thought on that? Because you teach around that too.
Well, yeah, I think it's fabulous to follow your heart and do what you really want to do and be able to do that, because now we can because of the internet. We can because of the rise of personal economies and income streams and all of this. We can quit our 9 to 5 grind, if it really is grinding us away, and do something different. But yes, I think what happens is, and this kind of happened to me during building my business. I didn't stop. I was loving it so much and creating my assets and networking. And I just loved every aspect of it that I didn't really want to stop.
Hmm.
And of course, the longer you spend in front of a screen, or scrolling a screen, the more chance you have of burning out. And burnout, as you'll see if you read my book, people think there's a mysterious quality to it. But actually, what happens is it creeps up on us
Hmm.
because we're not receiving the signals from the body. So, take
Hmm.
an example of the vagus nerve. This is the 10th cranial nerve, comes from the brain down into the gut. You mentioned the gut a moment ago. Yes, and this is why gut messages are often so right. This nerve comes down the sides of the face, down into the chest, right down into the gut, down into each arm, and it is the main biofeedback nerve from the gut and the body to the brain, to the cerebrum. And if we live in an urban, overcrowded population, in a city where there's hardly any nature, and so on, then we don't have good tone in our vagus nerve. It's not working properly.
Yeah.
So I work with the
Interesting.
vagus nerve quite a lot. And
Okay.
in the Lodestone practice, you will work on your toning up your vagus nerve. The best way to tone up your vagus nerve is to listen in the environment with your whole body. You think listening is just here, close to the brain. That's another trickery of the limited mind. The whole body can receive vibrations. The sound is vibration. If you close
Yeah.
your eyes, you can feel the vibrations of your nearby environment. Like I can feel my microphone hum. I can feel it. I can feel the breeze blowing the trees outside. I can feel my whole body. And so vagus nerve toning up, comes from that practice of whole body listening. And once we become comfortable with it, it's so useful, because every situation we are in, we can use the whole body to receive all the signals from our audience, from our meeting, from our partner, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
And it's quite romantic in a way, because I learned how to do this in the South Australian desert with some Aborigines. I was helping to take back to their traditional lands. This is 30 years ago now.
Oh, wow.
They taught me so much of what I do today is thanks to them. And one of the things I really witnessed out in the wilds of the South Australian desert is their ability to whole body listen. So what they do, walking along through this painfully hot desert, hottest place on the earth, and one tribal member will suddenly stop, stand on one leg, okay, which is what they do so beautifully, straighten the spine, drop the chin a little bit, and just cue in to the environment.
Mm-hmm.
They can detect danger or something unusual at 10-mile radius by using
That's
the whole
amazing.
body. And this happened to me 3 or 4
Amazing.
times with them. So on one occasion, it was quite dramatic. This leader guy called Gus did this. So we knew there was something dangerous happening. No phones, no electronics of any kind in the deep desert. So he came out of his kind of trance and said, in a very worried way, right, let's find shelter. There's a huge sandstorm coming. So we did. We moved over to some hills, and there was a cave there. So we got inside the cave. The most amazing sandstorm blew up. And it would have really, could have really threatened our lives. It was so strong, and so much sand would suffocate
Wow.
us, if we didn't have the right kind of shelter.
Wow.
So I've seen it in action. And so we can do it. We can revive this ancient skill, which will tone up the vagus nerve and make us so much more aware of our surroundings. We talked about performing a moment ago. So yes, that would be the third thing I would say, that if you are whole body aware while you're performing, then you're really going to pick up signals from your audience, which will give you feedback and which will keep the connection going with your audience. And you can play to that. You can, if somebody's smiling in the back row, you can ask them why they're smiling. What did I say that made you smile? So you can really interact with your audience if you're whole body aware.
Yes.
So we can get lots of signals from other people when we're truly aware and our vagus nerve is in good shape.
Yes.
So yeah.
Linden, I could ask you another probably 50 questions, because the stuff you're sharing is so fascinating, but I do want to let you get on to your rest of your birthday. So to kind of to kind of close us out, how, if people are like, this is fascinating, the thought of, and even because I know even as I'm listening to you, and I have, I have tried to incorporate this stuff so many times, but I'm feeling like, yep, my knees I'm standing, so my knees start to lock. If I'm performing, your knees lock, you get your shoulders go up, your chin, you get your spine goes out. Your spine just kind of like goes, you go, like, or like this, or you go out and you're stretching your throat, and everything's, your spine, like you say, is not in alignment, and all of that gets all wonky.
Mm.
So, how do people work with you?
The best way to work with me, you can always find me on LinkedIn. That's my main platform. I don't really go to other platforms. I do write for Medium and Substack, so you'll find my essays and so on there, my articles. I also write for Brains magazine, and I've got lots of things in other magazines. So, but if you want to work with me, the best thing to do is DM me on LinkedIn. And what we can do is arrange a call. I'll talk to you and I'll, see what you need or what you would like. And we can take it from there. So yes, love to talk to people. I'm inundated with people wanting to talk to me, which is great. And then I suggest the next steps. Also, I would like to invite everybody, all of your lovely guests, and of course you, Mary, too, to my live events, because I run a live event nearly every day of the week on LinkedIn and YouTube, and I've been doing that now for the last 7 or 8 months. So, for example, if you want to learn how to, get away from the visual intellectual overwhelm, come down into your central core, you can join me on a Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday for Mindful Moments. And that's a 30-minute meditation session, which is basically Lodestone, or beginning of Lodestone. Then on a Wednesday, I have Your Body is Your Business Plan Masterclass. And this is where I invite people to come and co-host with me and share the studio and panel discuss. So I often have a number of people discussing a certain embodiment issue, all based on embodiment work. Okay, and then on Friday, I run embodiment Q&A, which I mentioned before. This we're talking about laughter, which you may be interested in and how it can really help embodiment. And then on Saturday, English, Eastern Daylight Time, I run a session on peace and wealth. And I work with 2 other people, Ebby Sheila Dietz-Spiff, who is a self-love coach, and Dr. Marlene Greenleaf, who is an embodiment specialist. So we alternate and we give tips and so on. So yeah, if you want to find out more about me before you get too far in, come and try my events. And you can spectate or you can come and be my guest. I really encourage people to come and join me in the studio. And I can give you tips on embodiment to make you less nervous and so on. So yeah, it's all there on my profile if you want to check it out. But I think maybe the starting point is signing up for a quick chat, and then I can tell you more about Lodestone. I've also released this last month a new digital product called Embodied Compassion for Professionals. And this really is aimed at leaders because compassion is greatly lacking in the workplace these days. And so this is a 6-day program, and it will get you really into touch with self-compassion, which is where you really start to connect with yourself. If we're self-compassionate and we don't abandon ourselves at the drop of the hat and defer to someone else and say, well, I'm not good enough all the time, then how can we be compassionate, sincerely compassionate with other people? And that's where sacrifice creeps in, you know, this kind of unconscious sacrificing, which is so bad for our balance, body, spirit, and mind. So yes, you might be interested in Embodied Compassion for Professionals. And these products are all about videos or audio. In this case, it's videos, 6 videos and a workbook, and opportunity to talk to me during the process too. So yeah, lots of things you can join.
For sure. And if you guys just want to do the Lodestone, it's lindenthorpe.com. Is that correct?
Yes, Linden. Yes,
LINDENTHORP.com.
that's,
And it's
yeah.
really
No,
reasonable.
no. E. Yes, yes. It's very. It's a lifetime license, but very reasonable price because I want everybody to be embodied. So it's not just. I'm not here just to make money at all. I'm here on a mission to make everybody step away from their limited mind
Yeah.
and reap the incredible benefits of that.
Yes. Well, that sounds like a wonderful thing. I always think I've done work and then I'm like, not enough. I have more to go, which is
Well,
a huge
I
reason why I'm doing the podcast too. Is like there is more wisdom out there than I think what I've heard, and probably better. And this is true. There is more and better out there. Yeah.
I think you're right, but I think it's also maybe maybe we should listen more to our hearts about work. And I don't use that word very much these days at all. I've kind of rigged it to be creating. I'm creating, rather than working. But yes, if we talk about working with the body, it kind of takes on that, proletarian work ethic thing, whereas experience really is what the body thrives on. And as I described a little earlier, those minute shifts inside you, which you can't put into words, but something is different. That's the body changing. That is the body breaking away from all of its restrictions and really communicating with you. So, yeah, with embodiment, it's all about experience rather than work, I think.
Yeah, I like that. That's a good reframe. Actually,
maybe it will help.
I think that was a good reframe because I'm just using the words that I would have used. It is that's great. I mean, and it's so much lighter, isn't it? It's just experience more being embodied versus work at it. Experience it.
Absolutely.
What a different thought that is.
Yes, and that's the problem, that we just follow the patterns that we've followed for years. But really, I'm a pattern breaker as well, and there are many other people out there doing pattern breaking, but I've devised my own methods rather than using a set structure. But I am building some professional training into this, and I hope I can hand these methods over to younger people as I go into my dotage. My legacy is important to me. So I am building a training program to get people to do what I do. And also something really exciting, which I'll just mention. I know you've got to go, but just quickly.
I'm good.
I
was just thinking about you. I was thinking about your birthday, so that's what I'm thinking about.
Well, the champagne is almost ready, and we're going to put the glasses out and got some friends here. We're going to break a bottle in a minute. But this is really exciting because this happened only on Saturday. On Saturday, I did another podcast with a very experienced and well-known Indian doctor, a medical doctor. I've been involved with the menopause and perimenopause conversation for quite a few months now, and using embodiment in those situations. She is a specialist on hormone replacement and so on. So she wanted to talk to me about how embodiment could happen. And it was so exciting because, most medical professionals are rather kind of guarded about their expertise. They're rather totally invested in their methods or in their techniques or whatever. But she was so obviously asking for help because even as an experienced, highly qualified medical practitioner working daily in India, northern India, she said, Linden, I can't get my patients to accept treatment. I can have two patients with the same dis-ease, same problem. She works with a lot of cancer, reproduction cancer, area cancer. I have two people with the same condition. I use the same tried and tested treatment with them. One thrives, the other doesn't. Nobody can explain that. No research can go near explaining why that is the case. And I've really gone deeply into this research. And so she said, what I want to do is I want you as an embodiment specialist with your, specificity to work with me. And I want to design programs for my patients that are both medically sound and embodimentally sound. So excited about that.
Yes.
And, this is, I think many medical professionals are really struggling because people are not embodied and they're stuck in their limited mind. We still can't find a medical cure for burnout. It's not recognized by medics at all. They just treat symptoms, But the embodiment work I do goes to the core, goes to the root of all these things, which is, in simple terms, this. This is the problem. This is what interferes with what the body does naturally. And we're just not living naturally. And so treatments don't work the way they used to. And
well, yes.
so this is
so
really
much to
exciting.
that.
Yeah.
Yes, so much.
I'm so excited. And we're going to make a professional group for medical practitioners to come and join and learn about embodiment.
That's fabulous. I've had a lot of doctors on the show, and I have such a so love doctors for their wisdom and not just all those years of training that they had to put in to learn about the human body. And so, and then I also have had ones on because I really want to be I don't want to do, any way I can avoid drugs and surgery, I would. So I would choose first, always, a different path. And I have, when I've gone to medical doctors, often there is no other path. They're offering, especially once you hit menopause, they're offering at least 5 drugs per visit that you can, they're optional, but like how fun. It just almost feels like that. So I absolutely adore doctors and anyone who is willing to go that extra mile to find the ways of healing that have probably been with us forever, but we've forgotten.
Yeah.
Or they've been unlearned. Yeah.
Yes.
And also, I've the community of people, this just keeps coming up in my mind, of people who have been through abuse, because, and I have been. And so when that happens, embodiment is actually your enemy. If you can't get out of the abuse, you have to dissociate. And so, like children who are in awful situations of being abused and they can't do anything, the best thing for them to do is to dissociate. So then to take a precious soul like that, who's been through this stuff, and go, I'm going to have to put it back here. But the body holds so much pain from whatever it's lived through, emotional or physical. And so that is a real interesting, I think would be and I'm sure there's things to do. That'd be a whole therapy, that's the kind of the whole everything. And there's another 10-hour conversation right there.
Yes. Well, yes, I'd love to carry on at some point if you'll have me. I mean, I really want to talk about all this because it's new. for people mostly. And
Mm-hmm.
it's so fundamental, really. And so, yes, any opportunity I can get, I want to talk. So, yeah,
Yes,
I would love
yes.
to come and talk for 10 hours with you.
Yeah, on these things. Well, Lyndon, you are such a wealth of wisdom, and thank you so much for giving people so many opportunities to learn and to just discover and play around with this thing called, hey, your body. This is your body. This is where we get to live. Uh,
Yeah, that's
yes.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we can have fun. We can have fun. We can play. Playing. Last week, my theme was play. I have a weekly theme on LinkedIn and YouTube, and it was play. People are too
Yes.
serious about life. You
They
know,
are too
we need to
serious.
laugh.
Yes.
We need to get away from that. So gravity and play, there we are. We have it all. We're grounded, we're safe, but we can take time playing. So, yes, everybody, please do something useless today. Do something that is not productive, because productivity is not the only thing in the world, but we're led to believe it is. Yes, go and play with a ball, or go and make a cake, or do something that is not useful. Well, making a cake is quite useful, but something
Yeah.
playful, and that will lighten you up. Yeah. So I try to do that
Absolutely.
every single day.
Oh,
I
I love
play.
that. Go play a little bit. What great advice that is. Well, thank you, Lyndon. I appreciate you. And I will catch you on LinkedIn some
Yes,
more.
thank you,
So,
Mary. I've loved it, and I really hope your audience loves it too. And yeah,
yes.
please, I'm here. Contact me whenever you can, and let's talk. That's
Yes.
how I'd always like to start any work. Yeah.
Yes. All right.
Okay.
Thank you. All right. Enjoy the rest of your beautiful day.
I will. Thank you, Mary. Bye.
Okay. All
Thank
right.
you.
Did you like that? You can watch more episodes here. Subscribe over here. We actually have new episodes with awesome guests every Thursday. So check back in. Is that all?